we're just waiting for the accused to be brought up. The witness is here. As the court, please, my lord, I just contacted Sergeant Malauzi to inquire the whereabouts of the accused persons. He advised me that they are still at prison here in Hoshimampuru. They are making their way to the court. Okay. Yes. Lord.
Yep.
All the accused persons are before court. Before we proceed, I will make an application before this court to reopen examination in chief, just to hand in this document that was disclosed to my learned colleagues yesterday. It will be Exhibit 002. It is the complete document where Exhibit 001 was extracted from. It's for the whole month of October.
Is that the one of 29 pages or what?
That's correct, my lord.
Yes, Mr. Ngumezulu, there's an application.
Court pleases me. Morning, Captain. Sir, I would like to...
Before Mr. Mngomezulu starts, I thought it was about this document.
Yeah, I also thought that. Can you launch your application again so that you...
As the court pleases, my lord, yesterday, before we adjourned, we intended to introduce, in fact, we have introduced Exhibit 0001, where it's a 2-page document, and it came to light after a lunch break that it is a copy of another document that we have received, which is also not an original. It is a 29-page document, my lord, wherein Exhibit 002 was extracted from. So yesterday we discovered the entire document, which covers the month of October 2014, to my colleagues. At this stage, we intend to submit, to hand in as Exhibit 002 before this court the document which covers the period of October 2014 as a whole. Yes, court, please.
It's not the original.
It's a copy, my lord.
Where's the original?
My lord, I've been made to understand that the original was filed somewhere else within the ballistics section, and they're still looking for the original, my lord.
Yes, sir. Mr. Mngomezulu.
My lord, I was told that Mr. Advocate Mnisi wishes to address the court.
No, you must start. You're the first one.
My lord, in relation to the application by the state, I'm still under the impression that there's a provisional order that has been made in respect of that document. That if the original is not brought, it will be expunged from the record.
Yeah, quite. But this is a second document. You said it's 0002.
That's correct.
Not 0001.
That's correct.
So the provisional order related to 001.
That's correct.
Are you with us, Mr. Mngomezulu? I'm saying the application relates to 00002.
That's correct.
Yeah, not that one-page document.
Yes, correct.
That's the application is about 29 of those pages. Hello?
That's correct, my lord.
So what's your response, sir?
On my side, my lord.
Yes, yes.
My lord, is the same position. I have no objection if the document can be provisionally
Admitted.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Ramsepeli?
Indeed, my lord, if the document is provisionally admitted pending the original being procured, my lord, as the court places.
Yes, Mr.
Same view.
Same view. Mr. Norman?
I also share the same view.
Okay. And Ms. Msololo.
Yes, my lord. Thank you, my lord.
Okay, the document 00002 then is provisionally admitted, pending the production of the original document.
Thank you, my lord.
Yes. Yes, Mr. Mnisi.
My lord, this is something that has got nothing to do with the proceedings per se, but it has a bearing on the proceedings themselves. This relates to the condition in which Mr. Mnube is held at Khochimampuru prison. I must be very sincere, my lord, that it is bugging me to an extent that I'm no longer able to concentrate on the business of the day, which is to conduct this trial, because this is a collateral issue. It being collateral, however, as I'm saying, there's got a direct bearing on this case itself. The court will recall that in May, Mr. Mnube, through me, of course, informed the court that he is being held in solitary confinement, and the court made an order that the prison authorities should come and explain themselves out here. And before court, Mr. Koza came, accompanied by a certain Mr. Krebengo, and there was also a legal advisor who now I've forgotten her surname. And they made an undertaking. In fact, Mr. Koza then indicated that he was not aware of the incarceration circumstances of Mr. Mnube, but now that he was made aware, he will go and investigate what is happening, and then he will come and report. Because Mr. Mnube was complaining about the fact that he has been held in solitary confinement since his arrival at Khochimampuru in 2020. And he has not been informed of a reason why he has been held in solitary confinement for 4 years. He's telling me that the procedure that he has been informed of by the prison authorities for a person to be held in solitary confinement is when a person who has been sentenced and is serving in sentence re-offends in custody. As a penal provision, they might then decide to take him to a solitary confinement. But this has not been the case with him. And even so, when a person has been held, has been sentenced internally as an internal measure, a punitive measure, to go and spend some time in solitary confinement, the maximum period that such a person can spend in solitary confinement is up to 18 months. It's up to 18 months, my lord. Then the law says he should be released. But with him, he has been in solitary confinement since 2020 when he arrived at Khochimampuru prison, which is almost 4 years now. He has been consistently trying to siphon reasons, to get reason from the prison authorities about this continued indefinite detention in solitary confinement, to no success. Fast forward, Mr. Koza came here, and then he made an undertaking that he would go and investigate the circumstances relating to him being held in solitary confinement, and he will report back. He hasn't. I took it upon myself, my lord, to take the matter up with JICS, which is the Judicial Inspectorate for Correctional Services. I wrote a representation on behalf of Mr. Mnube and alerted them to the plight that Mr. Mnube has been subjected to. They sent out a certain gentleman by the name of Mr. Maswangayi to go and investigate the issue. However, in the course of investigation, it is procedural that they need to get a report from prison authorities. According to Mr. Mnube, Mr. Maswangayi had an interaction with Mr. Kebengo, the gentleman who accompanied Mr. Koza here. According to Mr. Mnube, the report that he gets from Mr. Maswangayi, because Mr. Maswangayi firstly consulted with Mr. Mnube to get the background of his complaint. And then Mr. Maswangayi then approached Mr. Kebengo. But Mr. Maswangayi, when he brought back the report to Mr. Mnube, he told him that Mr. Kebengo is avoiding him and he does not want to talk about the circumstances and condition of his incarceration at Khochimampuru prison. They are therefore unable to process his representation. Now we are at a position, in fact, in early August, I think Mr. Baloyi sent me a WhatsApp that came from Mr. Kininda, trying to explain the circumstances of what could be happening. I'm not so sure whether I need to read on record, but part of what he's saying, he says there were some issues of security concerns around Mr. Mnube, and it was at the same time accused number 2 had requested to be accompanied to a bank and stuff like that. So he's saying he does not know what is it that they are planning. Well, whether that is a case or what, it is neither here nor there, because all that I know is that Mr. Mnube is serving a sentence at Hoshimampuru prison, my lord. And he's under the custody, is under the guardianship of the prison authorities. I cannot fathom any reason why should Kininda, being a member of the South African Police Services, which is SAPS, would then have to go and interfere with the procedural, the processes and protocols of how inmates should be kept at correctional services. But fast forward, my lord, we are now at a position where I find it very difficult to get instructions from Mr. Mnube. It has been almost 4 years that has been held in solitary confinement. The system is systematically lynching him. This is a lynch. Each time he's supposed to get an answer of the reason why he's been held in such a solitary confinement for such a long time, they're attacking and diving. That is a Stalingrad approach. They know that Mr. Mnube has got no money. He cannot afford to fight his legal battles elsewhere. He cannot afford to have an attorney to bring up a substantive application to challenge this gruesome conduct by members of the correctional services. They know very well that it does not have that, and they are exploiting that very same situation. And the only recourse that Mr. Mnube has, it is this court. If this court is serious about upholding the rule of law, I'm going to urge this court to get into the dynamics and find out what is actually happening with Mr. Mnube. Because at the end of it all, this has got negative effect on what is termed a fair trial on Mr. Mnube. Now, I know the court that is going to tell me that no, but I cannot interfere, and that will not be true, my lord, because section 173 of the Constitution reads as follows, and I'm going to read it to the court. Section 173, my lord, of the Constitution says, the bold letters, the topic is inherent power. The Constitutional Court, the Supreme Court of Appeal, and the High Court of South Africa, each has the inherent power to protect and regulate their own processes and to develop the common law, taking into account the interest of justice, my lord. Now, the question that we basically need to ask ourselves is it really in the interest of justice where a person is facing such a massive trial with such massive allegations against him to be further subjected to this kind of a lynching? It surely can't be in the interest of justice, my lord, because they know that being held in a solitary confinement has got a damaging effect on your psychology. It psychologically defeats you. It psychologically drains you. It psychologically renders you vulnerable. At the end of it all, you're supposed to follow the trial, what is happening. You're supposed to formulate your defenses. In the circumstances in which Mr. Mnube is being held, my lord, it does not have that advantage because they are psychologically draining him. This is a systematic lynching on the psychology that Mr. Mnube should be applying in the defense of his case. And that also affects me, my lord, because each time I consult with him, he brings up this, he brings it up to me. So I'll have to fight two fronts. Number one, I'll have to concentrate on this trial, on the merit of this case. And number two, I'll have to try and sort out what is supposed to be attended to by members of the correctional services, my lord. I am therefore going to implore this court, and very sincerely, my lord, that the court should once again consider to call those members who were here in June to come and explain themselves out. Failure which, my lord, I will be left with no option. But that as we resume, because today is the last day, as we resume on the next semester, I'm going to take a week or two from the court's time to try and attend to Mr. Mnube's plight. Because in bringing a substantive application, I'll have to go and get an attorney who will be prepared to do this matter on behalf of Mr. Mnube pro bono. I'll have to go and sit in the office and draft papers on an agent basis to challenge the decision or to challenge the DCS to give us in fact, to bring an application to compel them to give their decision. Then thereafter, having had received their decision or their reasons why they're constantly holding him in custody, in solitary confinement, and then to bring an agent application in that regard. I will not be able, my lord. I need to be very sincere. I will not be able to do that whilst at the same time I'll have to proceed with this case. Otherwise, something must be done and be done very urgently. But as I've said, this court has got an inherent power to investigate, not really to say this is what DCS should do, but at least to get to the bottom of this.
Okay.
Thank you, my lord.
Yes, Mr. Balawi, are you responding?
As a court please, my lord, we confirm what Advocate Mnisi has said insofar as what he has communicated regarding the involvement of Brigadier Gininda. Brigadier Gininda did take the matter up with Mr. Tebengu, the head of prison. That was in early August, my lord, and Brigadier Gininda then sent the following message on the 12th of August. This is the message that Advocate Mnisi has referred to, and we'll just briefly put it on record. He said he spoke to Mr. Tebengu, the head of CMAX prison. He maintains that there are security issues around accused number 3. He says his application was disapproved due to such security issues, but Advocate Mnisi says they haven't received feedback on the application that was relaunched, but this is what Brigadier Gininda could establish that
Where's a copy of the letter
yes,
stating such refusal, if any?
yes. We haven't been
You don't have it?
yeah, we were not finished with the letter, and he mentions in this message that Mr. Tebengu says he cannot take the matter further than that
Is it?
because of these security issues. And this is where the matter is, my lord. And in the message, Brigadier Gininda indicates that the only way of addressing the issue is if Advocate Mnisi brings a separate application in another court so that all these issues can be ventilated. Advocate Mnisi did, in his address this morning, point to the fact that accused number 3 is impecunious and that he will not be in the position to fund such an application. We are therefore, my lord, at a dead end. Our suggestion would be once again that Mr. Tebengu will be summoned to court to come and explain these issues himself, and we can then take it from there, my lord. As far as Section 173 is concerned, we don't think of the Constitution. We don't think that is applicable here. it merely refers to the development of common law,
Okay.
and that the issues that have been raised don't really fall under Section 173 of the Constitution.
Okay, yeah, I heard you. You know what? Judge Cameron, although he's a friend of mine, I don't want to use that. We were together years and years in Johannesburg. He's now occupying that position. What is it? What is
I think he's like the head of prisons. So, yes. So the inspecting
The
judge. Sorry, the
inspectorate,
inspecting judge.
yeah, of prisons.
Inspectorate, yes.
Yeah, the other day I was in the party which was delegated by the JP to read some of the provisions in the Constitution. Sorry, not the Constitution, in the Criminal Procedure Act. Apparently Section 71 of 76, 77, 78, according to my brother Cameron, they make it possible in the exercise of those sections for prisoners, so-called prisoners, to be inhumanly treated. That's how he put it. The other day he was on TV saying that. Me, what I can do, I can phone him and invite him to this court. That's the best I can do. And then Mr. Mnisi and others who are so inclined can present your client's complaints to him, and he has to determine whether in fact they comply with the law. Mr. Mnisi says they don't comply with the law. That I can do. Instead of wasting time and bringing applications, let's go to the person at the top who sees to that. Unless he says, look, I can't do you that favor, Rata, fine. But I could give him a ring and say he must come here.
That's another position.
May I just add? In as much as the state is actually not a party to this, but the state is wrong in saying that Section 173 is not applicable. Section 173 says about the court regulating its own processes. It does not only speak about the common law. But nonetheless, my lords, I think what the court is suggesting under the circumstances, even if Judge Cameron, the Honorable Judge Cameron himself is unable to come here, I think they work as a group there. They're at jigs. You might delegate maybe somebody very neutral to come and attend to this issue. Probably to then have to come to
No, but
end.
fellows told me that the other guys say they don't want to be involved. You must bring an application because they can't take this matter any further.
No, but that's the thing, my lord. That is the thing. This is coming from Mr. Kininda.
Fine.
Who is Mr. Kininda within the context of DCS, Department of Correctional Services? Because it's just the police. He cannot prescribe to the DCS on what processes are they supposed to be following.
Yeah, fine. I'm offering to speak.
This is a further perpetuation of what I'm referring to as a lynching.
I'm offering to speak to the head of
Yes,
the
my lord.
inspectorate of all the prisons in South Africa,
Yes.
and then give him these facts. And I'm inviting him to come here. I don't know. He's in Cape Town. I know he stays in Cape Town. If it's possible to spare a weekend, he must come here.
That will be appreciated, my lord. But quickly, just a wait with accused number 3 because this is a note that
Yeah,
I sent
fine.
me. Yes.
What do you think, Mr. Balui?
Yeah, well, we do.
Who's the judge next door, by the way? Miss Judge
Support that
Mashudu,
approach.
The lady,
Njelele. GC.
yeah,
Mjelele.
the one,
Njelele.
yeah. We can even call her. We were sitting, myself, Njelele, Masopa, and Fori. We were handling something similar to this, to say that we actually suggested that the Criminal Procedure Act must be amended so that if a person comes to court and a judge makes an order that he should be treated at any mental hospital in South Africa to determine whether this person is mentally in a state to understand the proceedings, or if he is declared to be a mental patient, a president's patient, that after 30 days of such an order, he must be brought back to the judge who originally issued that order, so that the judge can inspect the file, which contains the examination and the treatment which was accorded to this detainee, who is declared to be a state president's patient, and to see when will he be okay to undergo further treatment. Because according to Judge Cameron, there are some people who are incarcerated for years without any comeback from some of the psychiatrists who are treating them. Quoted a case of about a year or two of a person who just sitting in jail. So he ceased with this type of stories.
But regarding that aspect, my lord, normally what happens is that the head of such a mental institution would periodically furnish the director of public prosecutions, who is the curator ad litem, with reports, and if based on the response of the patients to treatment, if that patient should be reclassified, the head of the mental institution will then bring or request the director of public prosecutions to bring an application before a judge in chambers for that patient to be reclassified.
Yeah, I've done
or
those
be conditionally released.
Yeah, I've done those applications for years and years and years, where there is a reclassification, whether this person is improving.
Yes.
Because if he is declared to be not compus mentis, then he can't be charged.
Yes.
But
so there is a recourse
that's it.
For such.
But then they say the department doesn't do anything about it. Nobody cares. So these persons, they just sit and sit and sit and sit. So Judge Cameron is busy with some of those cases, and he says, in his view, some of those cases are not being expeditiously handled, and consequently there is some inhumanity which creeps in the treatment of the inmates who are declared to be having mental problems.
In this division, that doesn't obtain, because, as I say, we do from time to time receive requests for the reclassification.
So in any case, you have to be patient, because now is the last day of this. I can only speak to the judge today or tomorrow and ever, and then I can report back. But you guys are not going to be sitting. Have you agreed? You're not sitting.
Yes.
Yes, I was told by my colleagues that they prefer not to sit.
2 weeks. Is it how many weeks?
Yeah, 2 weeks. We resume on the 7th of October.
So me, I can report on the 7th of October.
There's a further instruction,
Yeah.
I'm getting from Mr. Mnisi when I consulted him, that once again,
Yeah.
Mr. Kabengu told him that apparently there's a letter which he has not been shown, to the effect that the imports of that letter, to the effect that he needs to complete this trial because it's a high-profile case, whilst he seated in a solitary confinement.
Where's the letter? I don't have the letters.
That is the thing, my lord. That is the thing, because we've been requesting the reasons why he's been held in solitary confinement.
No, fine, I understand.
They don't do that.
Okay, so how is the way forward? What should we do? Because
you, my lord.
this is the last day.
Yes, I think, my lord, what the court has suggested, I'm not even so sure whether Judge Cameron will be able to come here.
Yeah, I don't know.
But in any event, that he himself is unable to come personally, I think I will
And delegate somebody.
employ him to delegate somebody neutral to come and investigate all the shenanigans that are happening there at DCS in respect of accused number 3, man. because this situation cannot
Yeah,
go on unabated. What kind of a situation is it that somebody is told you got to stay in solitary confinement up until the finalization of the case that you are involved in, because that is a high-profile case? This is actually not a high-profile case. It's just like any other case where a person gets shot and killed. We're busy with evidence here. But the person is told that you'll have to stay in solitary confinement, just stay there and be subjected to this torture that you want you to be subjected to up until the finalization of your case. It's very bad. It's very bad, my lord. That's
So
what
we
I
agreed
can
that
say.
I should report back on the
On the
7th of
Thank you, ma'am.
October. Okay, fine.
Uthi-ke Mr. Mncube umehluleki kodaba lwakho uzoxhumana-ke nalokho okuyona-ke ujaji ohambe ebona amajele nezimo ukuthi iboshwa ihlala kanjani. Uma sesiphinde sibuya-ke ngazo i-7 lezo ila manje esezobuya khona-ke nombiko ukuthi-ke bakhulume bamakuphi-ke yena nalo nojaji lowo ujaji Cameron.
Okay. Yes, you're still under oath, Captain.
Thank you, my lord.
Yes, Mr.
Firstly, I would like us to go to Exhibit 02. I think it's page 14, where the extract of 0001 was taken from. So the date of the 27th of October 2014, this is the logbook. Of the vehicle that conveyed you to Phosphorus to the crime scene, correct?
That is correct, ma'am.
Kuyiqiniso ukuthi lena-ke ilobhuku-ke noma le ncwadi-ke ekuyiyona ekubhalwa kuyona-ke yemoto esasihamba ngayo ukuya eFosloras.
On that transaction, who was actually the driver of this vehicle? Who was the driver of this vehicle?
The driver was Colonel Mangena.
Ukenel Mangena nguyena owayeshayela imoto.
And the person to whom it has been booked out, was it booked out in your name or in Colonel Mangena's name?
It is Lieutenant Colonel Mangena's name, my lord.
Umuntu eyakhishelwa yena-ke imoto yakhishwa egameni lakhe uKenel Mangena.
The signature that appears on the transaction, what signature is that?
It is Lieutenant Colonel Mangena's signature, my lord.
Nomuntu wasayina uyena uLieutenant Colonel Mangena.
So in other words, Mangena is or was responsible for the movement of this motor vehicle on that day. Correct?
That is correct, my lord.
Yebo umuntu wayebhekeneke nale moto noma nokuhamba kwayo-ke ngalelo langa kwakuyena uKenel Mangena.
To my surprise, Colonel Mangena has never led evidence regarding this document. Are you aware of that?
I'm not aware, my lord.
Uyakwazi-ke ukuthi uKenel Mangena akakaze asho lutho-ke ngale document leli, cha angikwazi lokho.
Now I'm telling you, or I'm putting it to you that this is the first time and you're not the relevant person to bring up this evidence before this court. What is your comment on it?
My lord, I've got no comment with regard to this issue.
Mayelana nalo daba-ke uthi-ke mina-ke akho lutho engingakusho mayelana nalo document, akukho engingakusho lapho.
And you have not, you did not make any affidavit and attach this document.
That is correct, my lord.
Futhi asikho nestatement esifungele affidavit la ufake khona-ke le document kuyiqiniso lokho.
I will therefore, during my argument, request that this evidence relating to this be expunged. Let me move forward. So, On the 27th of October 2014, you also attended the crime scene, correct?
That is correct, my lord.
Iqiniso nge-27 ka-October 2014 ngaya-ke kwindawo yesigameko
In company of Makati and Mangena, correct?
That is correct, my lord.
hamba nayo Makati kanye noMangena.
Do you know who called Mangena, or you guys in the plural form? Do you know who called you to attend to the crime scene?
I do not know, my lord.
Ukuthi ubani owasibizayo ukuthi siye khona lapho angazi.
But it has never been related to you by Colonel Mangena as to who called him to the crime scene.
I can't recall if he informed us who called him, but we were informed by Lieutenant Colonel Mangena.
Khumbuleke sitshelwa ke ngokuthi ubani owabiza ke kodwa ke uKenneth Mangena kodwa thina satshelwa uyena uKenneth Mangena.
All right. Upon your arrival, who did you meet at the crime scene?
My lord, I cannot recall.
Angisakhumbuleke ukuthi ubani noma wobani esabafica uma sifika khona lapho.
What were you going to do there? Seemingly, there's nothing that you can recall. What were you going to do there?
I was accompanying Lieutenant Colonel Mangena, my lord.
Mina lapho ngangiphelezela yena uLieutenant Colonel Mangena.
So you remained in the car throughout?
No, my lord, I did not remain in the car throughout.
Angizange ngisale emotweni ngaso sonke isikhathi.
Were there any people that you have met at the crime scene?
My lord, there were multiple people at the crime scene.
Babe baningi abantu ababekhona kuleyo ndawo leyo yesigameko.
But eventually, did you manage to enter the house?
That is correct, my lord. I entered the house.
Kodwa ke gcine ngabe na phela nagcina yini seningena endlini? Yebo, nangena endlini.
Was there any person leading you during the reconstruction of the crime scene?
My lord, from my memory, I can't recall, but in normal circumstances, there will be someone whom will point us where the scene is, because we will arrive there not knowing where to go, my lord.
Angisakhumbulike kodwa ke ngokwenjalo ke uba khona ke umuntu ozosihola ahambe nathi ngoba thina ke singazi ukuthi kwenzekani lapho asitsheleke ukuthi ikuyiphi indawo yesigameko.
So, in the house, what was your role? What did you do actually?
I was assisting Lieutenant Colonel Mangena, as I've stated yesterday, my lord, when he requests the whole handling of the measuring tape, and when he's taking those photos, and maybe the measuring stickers, whatever the assistant that he can request, my lord.
Nanjengoba bengishilo ke izolo ukuthi kwakulekelela ke yena uKenneth Mangena uma mhlambe ke ecela yona ke i-tape lena yokala noma ke lokho kubizwa ngokuthi ke i-measuring stick lesoko sokala uma ecela lokho kube ukumlekelela.
All right, I want to be specific and be precise on what you actively done in the house, because there were two assistants, it's you and Makati. On that day, what did you do as per the request by Colonel Mangena? Did you go to the motor vehicle to fetch the whatever that he requested you to bring? What did you do specifically?
My lord, from my head, I cannot recall to say exactly I've done this, my lord.
Mina ke milana ke ngeke manje ngikhumbuleke noma ngikhumbuleke lokho la ekhanda kumina ukuthi yiloko engakwenza ngalelo langa.
According to the document, okay, I'm not labored that much on that document. What time you departed from Pretoria to Vosloorus?
According to this document, it says 10:15, my lord.
Ngokwalo document ke lithi isikhathi saphuma ngaso noma sasuka ngaso la ePitoli kuya eVosloorus kwaku 10:15.
According to your evidence yesterday, you said you arrived between 11 and 12, correct?
I estimated around those times, my lord.
Yebo mangiqagela ke ngishilo izolo ngathi ke uma sifika khona lapha kwakuphakathi ke kwa 11 no 12.
What time did you leave Vosloorus?
I can't recall the time, my lord.
Angisikhumbule isikhathi esasuka ngaso eFosloras sesibuya.
Yesterday we talked about 8:10 in the evening. What is that?
8:10, my lord, is the time that is written in here.
Izolo ke ukhulume ngo 8:10. U 8:10 isikhathi ke esibhalwe la.
Is it the time for departure from Phosphorus? What is it?
My lord, I think the best person who can answer whether this was the time of departure or not is Lieutenant Colonel Mangena. But from my head, I will think this might be a standing off. But I cannot be for certain, my lord.
You say it might be.
A standing off.
Lesi sikhathi su 8:10 ke lana. Angeke ke umuntu ongakhuluma kahle ngaso noma ke asho ukuthi yisiphi isikhathi sasuka ngaso noma yisiphi uyena ke uKenneth Mangena, mina angeke ngisho ngesiqiniseko.
Therefore you agree with me that you are not relevant to give evidence on that document, correct?
My lord, I can't comment on that, my lord.
Lokho kusho ukuthi ke wena ke awusiyena umuntu ofanele ukuthi angakhuluma ke ngale document leli, akukho engakusho lokho.
When you were at the crime scene, did you see any exhibits that were found at the crime scene?
My lord, I did not see any exhibit, my lord.
Akhona yini amazibito wabona ke wena ke usulapha kwindawo yesigameko? Cha, awekho engawabona.
Did you meet Captain Mhlahlo?
My lord, even if I can't recall clearly if who Captain Mhlahlo is, but I think there was some from CRC, but I can't recall whether it's Mhlahlo or it's who the person is.
Ukuthi Mhlahlo ke angimazi kahle ukuthi ubani ke kodwa wayekhona ke umuntu noma babekhona ke abakwa CRC. So angazi noma kwakumhlahlo ke noma ubani.
More or less how many hours you spent at the crime scene on the 27th of October? More or less how many hours?
My lord, this information I cannot recall from my head.
Ukuthi ke kwakuhamahora mangaki esasilapho ke lokho ke angeke nje ngibe ukuthi ngiyikhumbulele khona.
Let's get into the 28th of October 2014. What time did you arrive at the mortuary in Germiston? What time?
My lord, the time of arrival, I can't state clearly. I just know that mostly we arrive before 8, as post-mortems normally starts at 8.
Ukuthi yisiphi isikhathi safika ngaso emakhazini eJermiston nge-28 angeke ngikusho ke kodwa ke ngikwaziyo ukuthi sivamise ukuthi sifike nje ngaphambi ko-8 khona lapho ngoba ke uma benza ke umsebenzi lo emakhazini bawuqala ngo-8.
Were you also with Mahati or?
That is correct, my lord.
Yebo, nalapho ngangisahamba naye uMahati.
So, what was your involvement on the 28th? Was just to accompany Colonel Mangena?
That is correct, my lord, and give him the assistance that he will need on the day.
Kuyiqiniso ukuthi nalapho ngamphelekezela yena ke uKenneth Mangena nokuthi ke ngimlekeleleke la awayezodinga khona ke ukuthi alekelelwe ngalelo langa lelo.
So was there any form of assistance that you have offered on the 28th of October? If so, what was it?
My lord, I cannot specifically say I've done 1, 2, 3. What I can say is that I was with him during the post-mortem, my lord.
Angeke ngikusho ukuthi yilokhu nalokhu ya engakwenza kodwa nje ngasho ukuthi nganginaye ngalelo langa lelo lapha emakhazini.
Are you friends with Colonel Mangena?
He is not my friend, my lord.
Ngabe ngabangani yini noKenneth Mangena akasiyena umngani wami?
Are you colleagues?
That is correct.
Uzakwethu.
You've got a good relationship with him. Correct?
I don't have a bad relationship with him, my lord.
Nobudlelwano obuhle, anginabudlelwano obubi naye.
My question is, do you have a good relationship with him?
That is correct, my lord.
Yebo, kuqiniso nobudlelwano ke obuhle kanye naye.
At no given stage, I don't think you can betray your colleague, correct? At no under normal circumstances, you can betray your colleague, correct?
I'm not sure of this question with regard to betrayal, my lord.
All right, we'll reserve it. I know where I'm going. So you can't comment on that one.
I think the word betrayal, my lord, I'm not sure in what circumstances, my lord.
All right, let's move on. Are you aware that there was an examination that was conducted by Colonel Mangena on the 13th of November 2014?
Can you just please repeat the date?
The 13th of November 2013, are you aware of it?
13th of November 2013.
2014.
2014.
13 November 2014.
I'm not aware, my lord.
Uyazini ukuthi khona ke ukuhlola noma ukuhlola akwenza uKenneth Mangena ngazo i-13 November 2014 cha angikwazi lokho.
Do you know that he conducted the initial test on the exhibit bullet or the specimen that was found at the crime scene? Are you not aware of that evidence?
So that he did some tests on the exhibit bullet.
Yes, that was found, allegedly found at the crime scene. Are you aware of that?
I'm not aware, man.
Ingabe yazi ukuthi ke inhlamvu lena athi noma abathi noma basola ukuthi yatholakala ke indawo yesigameko iyona ke le ayibheka noma awayihlola ke cha lokho angikwazi.
It's a common practice that once an examination is done on a particular ammunition or on a particular tool, there must be a verification of the findings of the particular examiner, correct?
I'm not sure if when you're saying verification, I still on the date
To
of the
verify,
date.
okay, let me just put it this way. To verify the findings of the examiner after the examination of a particular specimen. Are you aware that there must be a procedure to verify or to review?
Of the microscope, I'm aware, my lord.
Correct.
Ngiyazi ke ukuthi ke uma ngabe umuntu ehlola ke noma khona ke izibithi asebenza ngalo ebheka yebo kufanele lokho lowo msebenzi ubhekwe kusetshenziswa yona i-microscope.
And you cannot tell this court if you were not aware that Colonel Mangena examined the exhibit bullets that were allegedly found at the crime scene. So what I want to find out from you is the process of verification in the first test of the 13th of November 2014. You have no knowledge of it.
No, of the 13th of November 2014, my lord, I don't have any knowledge of that.
Anginalo ke ulwazi lalokhu ke ongibuza noma ongitshela ngakho ukuthi ke wahlola ke ngazo i-13th November 2014.
And at the third instance, firstly, you went with Mangena on the 27th. Secondly, you went with Mangena on the 23rd. Now on the 22nd of July 2020, he asked you to give him an opinion. This is the third instance, correct?
That is correct, my lord.
Waqala wahamba naye ke ngalelanga nge-27 nge-28 manje ke nge-22 wasecela ke ukuthi ucela uve kwase kuyihlandla lesithathu ke manje yebo kuyiqiniso.
Do you know when was the examination conducted in July 2020 by Colonel Mangena? Before you gave your opinion, do you know which day was it? What date?
My lord, the date will be the one that is written in this affidavit, my lord. I did not know that date, my lord.
Ingaba uyazini ke njengoba yena ezabona ke nge-22 ezocela uvo ukuthi yena ke uma esecwaninga ke amazibiti wakwenza nini lokho i-date kuzoba yilena ke elapha statement mina i-date leyo ngangingayazi.
Are you aware that Colonel Mangena went to Cleveland police station to fetch a firearm and ammunition prior to the examination? Are you aware?
I've heard that, my lord.
Ingabe uyazi yini ukuthi uKennel Mangena waya i-police station yase-Cleveland eyolanda ispam lokho ke ngakuzwa.
Personally, as a ballistic analyst, have you done that yourself to go and collect a firearm from the police station?
Myself, my lord, I've never done it, my lord.
Wena ke usuke ngaphambilini wakwenza ukuthi e-police station uyolanda ispam mina ke angikaze ngikwenze.
Is it procedural according to your experience and according to your know-how?
My lord, I cannot say it's procedural, it's not procedural. I was never in the situation that Lieutenant Colonel Mangena was, my lord.
Angeke ukuthi ngithi ke into yenziwa into engenziwa noma ke ngokwendlela kwenzeka ngakhona noma cha ngoba ke mina ke angikaze nibeke isimo ke lesi uKennel Mangena awaye kusona.
That's the reason why I'm saying you cannot betray your colleague. If he did something unprocedural, you cannot justify it. Correct?
My lord, I'm not justifying, I'm just saying I don't even know the circumstances at that time when he went to fetch the firearm, my lord.
Akukumkhulumela noma ke kumvikela ke ukuthi nje angizazi izimo ke noma ke kwenzeka kanjani ke ukuthi ke ahambe ayosilanda leso spam leso.
Any kind of exhibit that is taken for examination at the ballistic section, it is registered at the case administration, correct?
That is correct, my lord.
Yebo konke okuthathwayo noma ke ukuyolandwa ukuthi ke kuzoyohlolwa ke kuyangithi kuyabhalwa lapha yana ke noma la e-police station khona kubhalwe phansi yebo kuyiqiniso.
So any exhibit that is brought in, I'll call it in a local language, via back door, is not a correct procedure, correct?
My lord, I cannot comment on that. Hence, I've said I don't know other circumstances, my lord. There will be circumstances that maybe they might force somebody to deviate. So I cannot comment on that, my lord.
Kuloko kushoyo ke ukuthi ke ukuthi ke mhlawumbe phansi kwezinye izimo ke ukuthi into ikhishwe ke ngeback door akukho engakusho lokho kulapho ngoba ngishilo ukuthi ke angazi ukuthi kwenzeka ngaphansi kweziphi izimo mhlambe okwabangela noma okwangabangela kwenze ukuthi umuntu ke aphume eceleni.
Do you know if this firearm or these ammunitions or all these exhibits were taken back to Cleveland? Did it ever came to your mind?
I do not know, my lord.
Ngabe uyazi yini ukuthi konke lokho onke lamazibiti abuyela eCleveland angikwazi lokho.
So there's something that strikes my mind according to your collection of what you have done in relation to microscopic examination. You are better able to tell the court what you have done, especially comparing the exhibit bullets and the test bullets, correct?
That is correct, my lord.
Ngokukhumbula kwakhe ke uyakhumbula owakwenza ususebenzisa ke i-microscope uqhathanisa ke inhlamvu lena kanye futhi nezinhlamvu lezi ezayitestiwe yebo kuyiqiniso.
All right. You said yesterday in your evidence you can't recall or you cannot tell this court that Colonel Mangena approached other colleagues for the opinion. But what I know is that Captain Felion and yourself, together with Fesser, also gave opinion to the works or the findings of Colonel Mangena, correct?
My lord, I've never mentioned the same name Fesser, my lord.
Engikwaziyo-ke ukuthi ushilo wena-ke izolo ukuthi awazi ukuthi uKenel Mangena waya yini kwabanye ozakwenu eyocela uvo, kodwa-ke ngikwaziyo ukuthi-ke wena-ke uCaptain Viljoen noFeser nabo-ke bamnikeza uvo. Mina-ke angazi nje isibongo esithi Feser ngikhulume ngaso noma ngisisho.
For your information, this is what the state told the defense as well as the court. Do you know Feser?
If Feser, my lord, they're referring to the one that he worked in ballistics, then I will say I know him. He was a lieutenant colonel in ballistics section. That's the one that I know, my lord.
Uma ngabe ukhuluma-ke ngoFeser owayesebenza-ke kona-ke ama-ballistics wayekade lieutenant colonel ngiyamazi. Uma kuwukuthi ukhuluma ngaloyo.
Do you know if he gave opinion also on the findings of Kenel Mangena?
I just recently heard, my lord.
Ingabe uyazini ukuthi naye-ke wanikeza ngovo kuKenel Mangena ngiqeda-ke into nje engisanda ukuyizwa leyo.
So was it the same day you gave the same opinion to Kenel Mangena? Was it on the 22nd of July 2020?
I'm not sure, my lord. I don't know when did Colonel Mangena went to Colonel Feser, my lord.
Angazi-ke ukuthi ngoluphi usuku, angimazi ukuthi uKenel Mangena waya nini kuyena uKenel Feser.
So now we are giving opinion. Is it your evidence that we're given a case file in order for you to give opinion?
He gave me the exhibits that he took from the case file, my lord.
Wanginika amazibiti la awakhipha-ke kuyona i-case file.
What happened thereafter? He gave you the note, you stopped your work, then what happened thereafter?
Then I've checked the tests and the exhibit on the comparison microscope, my lord.
Ngase ngibheka-ke ama-test kanye futhi-ke nalo-ke izibiti kuyona-ke i-microscope le oyisebenzisa uqhathanisa.
How long did it take you?
My lord, I cannot recall the time, my lord.
Angisasikhumbuleki isikhathi ukuthi kwangithatha isikhathi esingakanani.
It was a single, we're talking TB3 to TB10. And according to the experience that you have, you should actually at least give a hint to the court or maybe estimate hours that you've spent when you were conducting that microscopic.
No, my lord, I can't do that from my head, my lord.
Ukuthi-ke ngenzelo ukuthi angikwenzeki ukuthi ngiqageleke angikwazi ukuthi nje ngayikhumbuleka lokho.
How will the court know that how much you spent for you to give a precise and a thorough opinion on the works of Kenel Mangena?
My lord, I cannot comment on this one, my lord.
Kulokho-ke ukuthi-ke inkantolo izokwazi kanjani ukuthi ngathatha isikhathi esingakanani akukho engakusho lapho.
Was it in the morning?
My lord, I cannot recall whether it was in the morning because I did not document anything, my lord.
Ngoba-ke ngingazange ngibhale lutho phansi angisakhumbuleki noma kwakusekuseni.
You see the dangers of not recording the works that you are supposed to do and the works that you need to bring to this court. You see the dangers that you are doing because you're doing things behind closed doors. You don't even want to tell the court what time, at least to estimate. In the morning, after your breakfast, or after lunch, during the course of the
My lord
day.
will object at this stage. The witness has already answered the question that he did not document anything and there's no requirement to document an opinion.
My lord, we are dealing with the issue of reliability here. Because I'll make submissions that the court cannot rely on this witness. There's nothing improper that this witness is bringing to this court which is of sound mind. Because he can't recall anything. He can't even recall that he was at work. Do you recall that he was at work on that day?
My lord, I will object as well. I don't know what Mr. Mnisi is suggesting now, that is of sound mind. Is he not insulting the witness now? And it's clear from his evidence that he was at work. He did whatever that he did during the scope of his employment at work. So I don't know why he's being asked this question.
Sometimes my colleagues can just object with no substance. let's just move on. You can't tell the court whether you did that in the morning, because my concern is that there were 3 people that attended or gave opinion on that particular day. There were 3 people. I want to ascertain whether you did that in the morning and June did it in the day and Fessar in the afternoon. So you can't even assist this court when did you do that. I'm not just doing cross-examining for the sake of cross-examining. We need your role that you played on the 22nd of July 2020.
My Lord, the role that I played on that day was to give a microscopic opinion, and I did not know that other people gave an opinion as well. I did not know that information.
Mina ke okwami ngalelo langa la nge-22 kwakuthi nginikezeke ngovo ngisebenzisa yona i-microscope, ngangingazi ke ukuthi nabanye noma abanye ozakwethu nabo banikeza ngovo.
So were you aware that at one stage or at any given date you will be asked to come in and testify in court? Were you aware of that?
Of this matter, my Lord, I was not aware.
Ingabe kwakuyinto oyazini ukuthi ke ngelinye ilanga kuzolindelekaka ukuthi uze enkantolo uzokuthi ubufakazi mayelana nale cala ngangingakwazi lo.
But in some other cases, when you gave opinion, are you normally called to court and testify?
I've never been called to come and testify for giving an opinion, my Lord.
Kodwa ke kwamanye amacala uma unikeza ke ngovo usuke wabizwa yini ukuthi uze enkantolo uzokuthi ubufakazi? Angikaze ngaphambilini ngiye enkantolo ngokungenxa yokuthi nganikeza ngovo.
This is your first time.
That is correct, my Lord.
Yebo na ukuqala manje.
So you didn't even know, or it's unprocedural, that you should bring a court chart to confirm what you found.
My Lord, hence I said I did not document anything. I was just giving an opinion. It was just an informal opinion.
Bese ngishilo ke ukuthi ke angibhazanga ngibhale lutho phansi ngoba okwami kwakuthi nje nikeze ngovo akukho ngabhala phansi.
I want to be frank to you, Captain Dean. This question is this: have you ever gave opinion other than this case on the findings of Colonel Mangena?
I've given opinion before, that is correct.
Ingabe ngaphandle kwaleli icala khona la oseke wanikeza ngovo khona ke kuyena uKenneth Mangena? Yebo.
Have you actually gave opinion different from what were the findings of Colonel Mangena?
Even if I can't call specific, I think I've done that before.
Usuke wanikeza ngovo oluhlukile yini lokho akuthola noma ke ngasakhumbula kodwa ngicabanga ukuthi ngake ngakwenza lokho ngaphambili?
How did you do that without documenting anything? How reliable is that evidence?
A lot. The thing is, when we are giving an opinion, it's an informal thing that you don't write. Only the verifier is the one who is completing the pro forma of verifying for that particular examiner. With an opinion, my Lord, I'm giving an opinion and then we don't document, my Lord.
Lana ke uma unikeza ngovo ukuthi ke awubhali into phansi kulowo ke ozoqinisekisa umsebenzi loyo abese yasayinda ke kodwa uma unikeza ngovo akukho bhala phansi.
What actually comes first before verification and giving opinion? What should the examiner do first? Is to take his findings to the verifier, or is to give or to sort an opinion? Which one comes first?
My Lord, I'll say you request for opinions, and then once the verification is done, which means that is the end there.
Iphi ke ezaqala ke ukuthi umuntu ahambe kumsebenzi wakhe uyoqinisekiswa noma ke ucela uvo abantu ke ucela ke uvo ngoba uma seqinisekisiwe sekusayindiwe ke lokho ke uyogcina lokho.
So the verification is the last stage.
Once verification is done, my lord, and signed, then that is the last thing, because there is no any other signing that comes after the perform of verification.
Uma sekubhekiwe ke umsebenzi waqinisekiswa noma lokho kubizwa ngokuthi phecelezi uverifya uyasayinda ke akukho okunye ke okuzophinda ekulandela lokho noma la kuzophinda kusayindwe khona.
So from the bullets that were given TB3 to TB10, you also gave opinion on what was found from those bullets.
That is correct, my lord.
Kulama bullet owanikwa noma inhlamvu ke TB3 to TB10 onikeza ke ngovo kuloko okwatholakala kuwona yebo.
According to you, all these bullets gave or they have a sufficient agreement, according to you.
My lord, what I know is that I found an ID on the test bullet and the test on the test bullet and the exhibit that was given to me, my lord.
Engikwaziyo ukuthi ke ngathola lokho sekubiza ngokuthi phecelezi ke ID kwinhlamvu ke lena okuyizona test noma ke eyatestwa ke kanye nenhlamvu le eyatholakala ke kwindawo yesigameko exhibit.
Were there any specific test bullets that you used to compare to the exhibit bullets?
My lord, as I've stated yesterday, that I've checked the tests. After checking the test to determine their class characteristics, that step is very much important, my lord, to make sure that there is no test that does not belong there. Then from there, then I've picked a test and mounted on the microscope, and then I've also put the bullet on the microscope, and then checked the group that have the marks, and check also on the test. That is what I can say, my lord. But as to the specific bullet, my lord, I cannot say.
Engakwenza ukuthi ke ngithatheke lawo ma test ngiwabhekeke ukwenza ke isiqiniseko sokuthi ayikho ke test kulawo ma test lapho ekwakungafanele ukuthi ke ibe lapho ngase manje ngidlulela kuyona ke inhlamvu ke le eyatholakala ke eku exhibit ngibheke yona ke ukuthi futhi ke ngitholani ke kuyona mase ngiqhathanisa.
Amongst all these bullets that were given, which bullets were the FMJs?
My lord, I cannot recall from my head, which means I have to consult the case file, my lord.
Ukuthi ke ngisho ukuthi kwakuyiziphi ke inhlamvu kwakuleze SMJ lokho angeke ngikukhumbulele kuzofanele ngiyobheka ke i-case file.
Can you recall how many FMJs were there? FMJ.
No, I can't recall, my lord.
Angisakhumbuli ukuthi kwakunama FMJ amangaki.
Even the CMJs, you can't recall.
I can't recall, my lord.
Nama CMJ angikhumbuli.
So the TB1 and TB2, were they CMJs or FMJs?
The TB1 and TB2 I haven't seen, my lord.
TB1 and TB2 angaze ngizibone.
Thank you, my lord. I have no further questions. Okay. Yes, Mr. Ramasipiri.
Thank you, my lord. My lord, due to the belated start, I'm not sure whether should I proceed or my colleagues want a comfort break, my lord.
What's the time then, Mr.
11:27.
Okay, 15 minutes.
Yes, the court, this is